Hey folks, Matt here, and today I'll be reacting to a new 4-inch vinyl record format called Tiny Vinyl. So far, a number of pop artists have content on these little records, but let's talk about the legacy metal band that adopted it. And let's also go through the format itself to see if it might do well with metal fans. All right, so Tiny Vinyl. It's so tiny. And they're real vinyl records, because no one really guessed that with a turntable and a needle there. A few things I didn't want to go through. We're going to talk about Target later because they seem to be the main company that's selling these right now, or will be. October 31st, I think, is the start time for at least one of these records. We'll get to that later as well. Some rave reviews already. It's real. I like that we keep having to impress the point that it's real. Like, these aren't just plastic facsimiles of actual records. You can actually play them. How novel. Turning massive hits into pocket-sized playable records. By the way, don't put your records in your pocket, no matter how small they are. That's ridiculous. Head turning size format. Sure. So, fully functional, collectible, and traditionally pressed 4-inch vinyl record that fans absolutely adore. Do they? We don't know yet because they're technically not out. So I don't know how they're already adoring them. I did want to go through some of this stuff here. One song per side. So 4 minutes per side. That's the limit. And I did do a little bit of AI searching regarding lengths of songs over here. And it does seem to be that there's a target length between 3:30 and 4:30. 3.5 to 4.5 minutes. That makes general sense. They also talk about the 45 RPM vinyl single, which is interesting because the first question I had was, since these are like 45s, I'm wondering if the sound quality is similar. I mean, you have 45 RPMs, they're larger vinyl format, but they're also faster speed versus these tiny vinyls, which are smaller records, but slower speeds. And I just wonder if there's a difference in sound quality. Again, we don't know yet. We might find that out in the future, the near future, or now, in case you're watching this later on in life. Yeah, interesting. Spotify stuff here. Charting songs around 3 minutes, a decrease of 30 seconds since 2019. In general, I think some people are expecting shorter tracks. But I think that's a genre thing because we are going to talk about metal here. And that's not always the case in metal. Crossover thrash and grindcore and things like that withstanding. Yeah, it'd been decreasing since the 90s. That's interesting. So that kind of factors into probably the pop audience, who might not mind shorter tracks. Average duration of songs at 4 minutes. So what's probably happened with the tiny vinyl people is they probably know this. They probably did their research and figured that out. So 4 minutes is a bit of a thing. Coming back here, standard turntables. We should really talk about this because there's a real problem with automatic tables versus manual tables. It says it plays at 33 RPM on most manual turntables. And just to get into this a little bit, most people's turntables, if you have a low-end Audio-Technica LP60, LP120, those tables are automatic, meaning that you push a button and the needle comes up, goes over, drops itself onto the record. Manual tables, like the one I have a Fluence RT85, it's fully manual. And so you pick up the needle itself, you put it yourself, and drop it down yourself. The benefit of that is that the record will go very far into the center of the record. And if we're talking about these tiny records here, you need a needle that can do that. And this is why they're saying most manual turntables. Because automatic tables, after they get to a certain point towards the runoff, they lift up and come back. And with the tiny vinyls, your runout is a lot smaller. So that's going to be a major concern. If you have one of those, starter tables that are automatic, you're out of the game. I mean, these aren't going to work for you because midway through the track, they're probably just that needle's going to lift up and return. So again, how many people have automatic tables versus manual tables? That's a concern. I think a lot of people have automatic tables. They're easy. I mean, you don't have to set them up. You don't have to do this balancing thing. There's no setup. You plug it in and you use it. So manual tables are a little bit more of a There's more of a learning curve to setting up and, and all of that. And you do have the lack of convenience that an on-back table has with, you know, returning back and forth and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, it says turning auto stop off, I guess if you can, if your table allows that. That's a thing. Make sure your tone arm can reach the center of the platter. I think that's a huge sticking point for a lot of folks when they're doing this. Okay, affordable and adorable. Adorable. It reminds me of the Kid Albums video I did a couple React videos back. Watch that video if you haven't seen it. There are going to be some parallels here because there is a cuteness factor to both. It's kind of undeniable. Except this is completely physical media. There is no digital component here. Ideal for concert merch. Sure, I'm sure they'll sell at the concert merch tables. I could see that, especially again for pop acts, and we're going to go into pop versus metal in this whole argument in a bit. Special promos, direct to consumer sales. Great. Fully customized, like all records can be, really, right? From packaging to vinyl color, every piece is the artist's canvas. They do have a set number of colors, and they're all solids. I don't know any splatters. I didn't see any of that. So that's pretty interesting. Collectible by design. Verifiable. Okay. High quality, made to be treasured. We're going to talk about the quality thing a little bit because I don't know about the quality of it. I don't know if I'm completely sold. It might be okay, but we're going to get into that in a little bit because I got something in another tab for that. This is funny. Tiny Vinyl has a TV number. So they're using TV as their acronym for Tiny Vinyl, which is really strange because TV already has a connotation. It's television. Very different medium. I don't understand why we're calling them TVs. And they do call them TVs in some of the other articles. It's like, they're not TVs. They're not even visual. It's kind of funny. And better for the planet. So this is another interesting point. 100% bio-attributed vinyl. 15 grams of material per record compared to an LP. Of course, it's smaller than an LP, so it's going to use less material. That's not rocket science. Lowers the environmental cost it takes to produce, ship, and store each record in your collection. Well, because they're smaller and they have less songs. That's the thing. I mean, if you're putting this up against LPs, I don't know what the point is. LPs have 10, 11, 12 plus songs on them. These have 2. So, I don't know. It's not comparing apples to apples here at all. Makes a big difference. Sure. So here's some pictures. They're very tiny. See, there's your hand. Great. Hopefully you have a turntable like this, right? And all of that. Let's go to, we went to the bio-attributable. No, we actually didn't we? So let's get to that. Bio-attributed vinyl. It's fun to say, right? Sustainable version of polyvinyl chloride. It reduces carbon emissions by using biomass feedstock. That sounds weird. Such as forestry or agricultural waste. Okay, so it's defined. Instead of traditional petroleum-based raw materials. So generally speaking, regular PVC, if we're talking about sound quality and fidelity and accuracy and all that stuff, generally has a lifespan between 60 to 100 years, which is is usually a bit longer than a lot of us are going to be alive. Let's be honest. Because records from 100 years ago, the 1920s, they sound scratchy and all that other stuff because of use, but also because of age. That's going to happen anyways. So I don't know if this is really a great argument. Relying on oil, bio-attributed vinyl incorporates new materials. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on how invested you are in this environmental argument. I mean, again, you can make the argument, I'm not going to be around in 100 years, so is it really going to matter? But some people are really big on this. They're really big on the environment and stuff. So I'm not going to take that away from people who aren't, or are rather. There was something else. Low in carbon footprint. Well, they're smaller. Again, you can sell the virtues of this product by like, oh, it's less this and less this. Of course it is. It's smaller, right? But again, it's not an LP. It's not going to replace an LP. There's no way it can replace an LP, let alone a multi-LP, right? 2 songs. That's it. Just want to look through a little bit more of this. So there are a couple things that are interesting here. They're also using this stuff for flooring, right? But PVC, is in that family, anyways. Low carbon alternative to traditional vinyl, right? Window frames, architectural finishes. So they're trying to sell the multi-purpose thing. Okay, whatever. Great. I can't remember if there's anything else on the Tiny Vinyl site worth looking at. I just want to take a look. We'll do for fans because I think there was something here. You can see how really tiny they are, right? They are at Target. We're going to get to links to that, and to specifically one release that applies to us metal fans in a bit. Fun sized. I'll be honest, it does look fun sized, right? I mean, I guess maybe it's more fun to people. I don't know. I mean, is it, if you're used to 45 singles, is this equally as enticing or more? I don't know. The 45 single isn't a big thing in 2025 to probably the young people. So will this sell that idea to them? That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the market is for this, and I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest. It'll play on most manual turntables, but, right, there's that argument. So where can I find more of these? I'm going to tell you Target probably. There is an Instagram account, Tiny Vinyl Records. You can go follow that if you want. Take a look at some of the pictures of all the releases, but you can still go to Target, which we're going to do shortly. I'm having trouble playing my Tiny Vinyl on my player. Some of those you're going to have that problem. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and if I'm an artist here, it has a whole page of this for artists to tell them all the things. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me go see. I think there was some pictures of the actual vinyl somewhere. There they are. So there are all the colors, and you're limited to those solid colors. So no splatter, no stripes, no, whatever other combinations of vinyl you have. So that's a thing, right? Just blow that up a little bit. You get standard black, and then you get these colors. They're nice colors, but they're solids. So some people might find that limiting. There you go. So let's get to the release that makes sense to all of us, which of course is Black Sabbath. Is Paranoid on one side, Wizard on the other. I guess Warner Brothers jumped in. The release date is October 31st, 2025. So that's either the past or the future, depending on when you see this video. $15 is an interesting price for two songs. I think you really have to love the format a lot. I think that's the thing. And I'll be honest, I'd kind of like to get one of these. At least this one, right? We'll go through what else they have. It's not a lot of metal so far. And, of course, we're going to talk about that 4-minute limit. Again, Blood Incantation is probably not going to go for this, right? Or any of the other bands, the sort of, the prog metal and the sort of avant-garde metal bands, Blue Dust Nord might not do this, right? So, but still, I was thinking maybe getting one of these, right? I mean, it is $15 for two songs. And if you really do the math, if you have like a $35 record and there are 10 songs on it, was that $350 a song? This is $750 a song. So if my math is right, someone can get me in the comments if I'm totally screwing that up, but I don't think I am. So yeah, Better for the Earth. It's tiny. I love that it's as real as it gets. Well, great. We have to keep impressing the fact that these actually play, is that people would be like, that record won't play. Of course it will. Paranoid on one side, Iron Man on the other. Again, good songs. I mean, they're very, very popular songs. I mean, Paranoid's probably the most popular Black Sabbath song ever, and Iron Man's a classic as well. It would be interesting to see what else they do with this, though. I don't know if there are any real specifications here. Nothing of real interest, and all that. So yeah, Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I don't know if you can get a really good look at it here. It's got a run out thing there. That's awesome. Only a Target. Yeah, classic. Okay, so here is the Tiny Vinyl page for Target itself. They're real records. Kind of going to run into that a lot, aren't we? These are some of the other artists that are doing them. There is a Ghost one for Lacrima and Mariana Cross. Is Ghost metal? I'm not going to have that argument. I think even the band doesn't think of themselves as purely metal or even mostly metal at this point. And they have changed over the years quite a bit. But if you're a Ghost fan, that might be something you look at. The Charlie Brown Christmas record, that's fun. I saw the full record of it for Record Store Day. They did a repress of it, and I remember being, oh, I love Charlie Brown. That's Christmas special when I was a kid in the '70s was really awesome. But then you realize that the music is really just a bunch of weird avant-garde jazz, smooth jazz too. And occasions it's like, okay, maybe I'm not into that music. So you have to kind of remove the nostalgia for the actual, TV show from the music itself. That's why I never did buy it. But I came close because fond memories of the show as a kid. Anyways, more than you needed to know. Night Brown Christmas, that's kind of fun if you're into Danny Elfman. This Is Halloween and whatever else is the other track there. I'd have to click on it to find out, and I'm not gonna. I don't know a lot of these other artists. I mean, Backstreet Boys goes back. Maybe they're going to pick some legacy acts that aren't metal to get in there too. I mean, Backstreet Boys were around during the 45s, or probably, well, were they actually? Am I just thinking about New Kids on the Block? Because my boy band knowledge is very limited. I don't know some of these others. So we got Motley Crue here, which is not a metal band. But they did a thing with Dolly Parton, Home Sweet Home, a version with her, and then I think the original version. I think that's how that goes. Do I really need to find out? Yeah, right there. Motley Crue and Dolly Parton. That was the duet that no one knew they needed, right? And probably still don't need. But there it is, right? Let's go back again and take a look at anything else. Other artists I don't know. I know the Stones. That's going way back. That's probably I don't need to give you feedback. So are we trying to hook boomers there with the Stones? That'll be interesting. And some of these other artists, again, I don't know a lot of these. There's Frank Sinatra. Interesting. How old's your average Frank Sinatra fan at this point, right? Are they still around? My grandma's a big one. If she was around right now, she'd be 103. So she's not. So interesting. I'm actually a Frank fan. I was raised partially by my grandmother, so I had that in the house a lot. But I don't know what songs. So it's the Christmas songs. I have a full Christmas album. I don't need that from him. Yeah, and I don't know some of these other artists. Maybe because I am 57 years old. Maybe that's the thing. Of course, there's Black Sabbath again. Just looking through some of these other Third Eye Blind, I know about. Don't really know. Bruno Mars, I know about. B.I.G., I guess, for the hip-hop kids. Was that the only hip-hop record? Interesting. But yeah. So again, just going back to here and getting out of this. I guess I'll have to go back. Yeah. So this is how you do the tiny vinyl. And you got to go through Target right now. I don't know if other folks are going to pick it up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If you have questions, you can actually email Tiny Vinyl and all of that. I don't know about any of this other stuff. Assign you a TV number. I still think that's funny. But anyways, yeah. So there we are. Tiny Vinyl. It's so tiny. So yes, we've got some limitations here, including the 4-minute limit per side, as well as it needing to be played, for the most part, on manual turntables. The song length issue will certainly shut out bands with longer tracks, and that could be a lot of bands, to be honest. Also, I'm not sure that casual music listeners who would otherwise be in the market for these will also own manual turntables, so those are definitely factors going into this. But given all of that, I'd still like to pick up the Sabbath disc and try it out, even if it's a little more per song on this format. If I do, I'll no doubt discuss it towards the end of a future episode of Vinyl Haul, so definitely check back in for that. Anyways, what do you think of Tiny Vinyl? Are you interested? Are you not interested? Is it a completely silly idea or just the latest fad that'll go away with time? You can let me know that and any other thoughts that come to mind in the comments below. Of course, reaction videos aren't the only thing I do here at the Accusation Network. Generally I do videos on metal vinyl collecting, but also classic and modern metal in general. If you like the sound of that and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, it'd be really cool if you did just that. Hit that subscribe button. Why not? Also, maybe like this video and share this and other videos of mine with your friends on social media. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.